here, and today we're going to be reviewing this ZD Racing RC car. So let's get to it. So once you have the box open, these are all the things that are included. So let's start from this side. Start with the tyres. These are the tyres, quite big, and they got a lot of cushion to them. Then we have the remote, the car itself, we got a spoiler for the car, the spoiler fittings, instruction manual, we've got all the things to do with charger. It's originally a 2-pin plug, but it comes with an adapter, so you can put it in a 3-pin. And then we have some other fittings here, some little small gears and zip ties. Right then, so let's have a look under the body shell. To do that we need to take these pins off. All you do is pull them back. It comes with this little silver washer thing. So once you take all the pins off, it's a good idea just to put them one side so you don't lose them. Let's take body shell off. So first impressions, looks pretty good. Loads of metal parts, metal chassis. Let's start with the components. So it's got a 2000 kV brushless motor. It's got a 9 kg steering servo here, 120 amp ESC, and it's got a 5000 mAh battery. The battery itself is a 3S LiPo battery, and to take it off, all you need to do is undo these Velcro straps and then just pull the battery out. This way the battery is going to be secure. So that's what the battery looks like. LiPo battery. Let's take a closer look at the parts, starting with the shocks. The shocks are oil filled and they can be adjusted. The spring can be made stiffer by tightening the knob and softer by loosening it. It's also got front and rear sway bars, so that's the sway bar there. So then when suspension compresses, the other one does as well. Acts as like a stability control. It's got these little protectors here for the front 2 wheels only. Right then, so now let's talk about what's metal in this car and what's plastic. So starting with the front, it's got plastic bumper, plastic differential case, control arms are plastic, this little guard here is plastic, the rear control arms are all plastic, the spoiler mount is plastic as well. The metal bits include the drive shaft, the chassis itself, these alloy braces here, they're all metal, and the hub carriers are all metal as well. Now let's get the wheels on. So to do that, the wheel nut is already loosely applied here, so all you do is take that off and take this one off as well and put the wheel on. All you need to do to get the wheel on is align this hex pattern with the hex on here. So just put it on and just spin it until you can feel it drop and then push it in. Then what you need to do, you need to get this wheel nut here and put it on there. To tighten down the wheel nut properly, you'd need a 17mm socket. This socket is not included with the pack, so you're going to have to get your own socket. So you don't have to go too tight with it, just so it's enough so that it won't come loose. You might want to do it with a ratchet or something. Right, so now I'm going to put the rest of the wheels on and then we're going to move on to putting on the spoiler. So once we've got all the tyres on, now we can see the suspension movement. And just look at all the suspension movement on that. And you can adjust it with the adjuster on the suspension themselves. Now let's get the spoiler on. To do that, there's a little pack of fittings here. So once you open the pack of fittings, you get 2 plastic washers, 2 nuts, and 2 bolts that you need to tighten down with an Allen key. The Allen key is also not included, so you have to get your own Allen key. So to get the spoiler on, you need to align these 2 holes with these 2 allocating pins here. So just align them up and then push the spoiler down so it stays in place, like that. Then what you need to do, you need to get the bolt and a washer. Put the bolt through the washer, like that. And then you need to screw that into there. Once you do that, you need to get the nut and tighten it from underneath. So let's do that. So now that we have the spoiler installed and it's all tightened up, there's a few things I forgot to mention. So this car actually has 3 differentials. One at the front, one at the back, but it also has one in the middle. And that is where the motor drives it. So there's a spur gear on the differential and the motor drives that gear. On the steering rack here, there's a little adjuster which is spring loaded. I'm guessing that's to adjust the stiffness of the steering wheel, but you can comment your ideas down below in the comments. So let's take a close look at that and comment what you think it is. Right, so let's get it plugged in. To do that, you just plug the battery into the ESC like that, and you turn it on. The switch is here. And that noise is the fan. There's a fan on top of the ESC which keeps it cool. Sometimes the battery may not be charged fully or charged at all. So I'm just going to show you how to charge the battery. You get the charging components, you plug this lead into the charger itself, and then depending on which wall outlet you have, if you have a 2-pin outlet, just plug this straight into your wall. If you have a 3-pin outlet, a 3-pin adapter is included, plug that into there, and then you have a 3-pin outlet. And if you have this style 2-pin outlet, you can just plug this into the adapter and plug that into your wall. Then you plug this white connector into the white port here. There's 2 different types of ports. This is the 4-pin one, so you plug it into the 4-pin port here, and that charges the battery. Now that we have the car all plugged in, let's put the body shell on and take it for a test drive. To get the body shell on, there are 2 allocating pins on the front and rear of the car. These align with the holes on the body shell. Once the body shell is all properly aligned, it's time to get the pins on. First you put the metal washer over the post and then put the pin through it. All you need to do now is repeat the step for the other 3 pins, and then we can go for a test drive. The remote takes 4 AA batteries. On the side of the remote there is an on switch. Once you flick this switch, the remote will light up. Right, now I'm going to show you what the top speed of this car looks like. That's how loud and how fast the car can go. Let's test it on the ground. So let's give this car a little bit of test drive. We've got some good starting power. Braking is not so good. Braking could be better. One thing I forgot to mention was there is a throttle trim and a steering trim. Right now the throttle is on set to 50% power. So if you turn to full 100% power, that's when we get the max out of it. Now that I've set the throttle to max power, let's see how fast the wheels can spin. Yeah, so the tyres do start moving a little bit, which is good. Yeah, so the handling is not the best because the brakes are not that good, but the power is quite good. So as you can see, I can just tickle the throttle a little bit and it goes very fast. Like that. Okay, so as you just saw there, we had a little bit of a crash. So I'm going to tune the power settings down to 25%. That's a little bit more suitable for indoor use, I'd say. Okay, that's a bit too slow. Let's do it 50. That's a bit better. So I mean on 50 it still has some good power, but it's not enough so that it can go sliding up into things. So we're out here in the outside testing. Here is the car I've just reviewed, and here I'm joined with Boss RC, and this is his 1/10 scale Bison.
Hi!
Yeah, so now we're gonna have a little drag race. So just for size comparison, this is what the cars look like. That's the 1/8 scale, and that's the 1/10 scale. A little size comparison. Now let's have a little bit of a drag race. Just before we start, I'm going to say that I got both of these cars off Banggood. I'll leave a link to both of them in the description below. You can choose which one you want, or you can have both of them. So let's have a little race. 3, 2, 1, go! That was 50% power. Let's have another fly now. Okay, so that was 50% power, that race. Now we're going to do 100% power. So I've set the controller using the throttle adjuster to 100% power. And this Bison is a little bit different. I'm going to let Boss RC talk about his Bison for a bit. Over to you.
My Bison has an aftermarket bumper and lights, and they're not included.
So let's get 100% power race going. 3, 2, 1, go! Right, as you can see, that had a lot more power. The launch was a lot better. Just another run. Little crash there. Okay, so just to end with, I'm gonna get some nice shots of just some drive-bys here, and we'll see how that goes. Quite dark out now. I'm going to end the video here, and I'll end by saying I'll leave the link for these two cars in the description below. That's called a VKAR Bison, and this is the RC Truggy. Like if you like the video, hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and share with your friends so they can know about these two cars as well. Until next time.